Hi. Hola.
Hi, here's Mr. Dozy.
This is Michael Bradley.
Hey, I'm Memphis.
Hey.
Hola. Hello.
I'm here with soccer.com.
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 And I'm talking with my friends soccer.com.
See you soon.
Hey guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the Nike Hypervenom Phantom 2 in the latest Elite Pack colorway. Now included with the shoes inside the box is this little tag right here that lets you know that the pattern printed on the bottom of the sole plate will wear off over time. That's something that I'll talk about a little bit later in the video. They also include a string bag that is gray in color with a ghost green Hypervenom graphic and then black strings. And then of course you get the shoes themselves that I have right here. Now this is a very interesting colorway of the Hypervenom Phantom 2 as part of the Elite Pack. And of course in today's video we are going to take a closer look at the colorway itself. We're going to talk tech specs, performance, take a look at the weight of the shoe, as well as talk about how they fit and feel on feet. So if you're interested in learning more about this particular colorway of the Phantom 2, please stick around and watch the entire video. If you're interested in a pair of these for yourself, there'll be a little pop-up on screen, as well as you can check out the first link down below in the description, and that'll take you to the review page on my website, where you'll find Buy It Now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these up below their normal $275 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, click the little pop-up or the first link down below. And with that being said, let's get right into the review. To start things off, let's take a closer look at the colorway. Now, just to be 100% clear, the Elite Pack is quite simply a new colorway. There is not an elite version of the shoe that's different from the regular ones. I know Nike has done that with their basketball line, and if you're familiar with that, then perhaps this naming of the pack being the Elite Pack is a little bit confusing, but I can assure you that this is just a different colorway of the standard Hypervenom Phantom 2. They haven't changed anything physically about the shoe. The reason why it's called the Elite Pack is because Nike has selected basically what they consider to be their top 11 contracted players, the poster boys, if you will, that are only going to be wearing this particular colorway, whereas all the other pros will remain in the previous one. So it's kind of a cool little idea in that only 11 professional players will technically or are technically supposed to wear this colorway, but that's the idea behind the Elite Pack name. It's not physically a different shoe, so keep that in mind. As far as the colorway itself is concerned, it's pretty unique in terms of the amount of colors that it incorporates. For this particular shoe, the listed colors are as follows: pure platinum, black, cool gray, metallic silver, and ghost green. So you have a light gray upper, as you can see. You have metallic silver in the actual Hypervenom graphic there, the zigzag at the bottom with the black detailing on the inside. You have black Nike swoosh with what looks to be more of a Volt yellow color as the outline, and then you get kind of more of a ghost green in the actual laces as well as at the collar. The ghost green color is kind of like a slightly muted Volt yellow. I guess that's the best way to describe it. It's not really green. It's more of like a highlighter yellow that's been almost dulled out a little bit. You do have the actual collar itself, which is a slightly darker gray. Again, the little ghost green accent there on the top rim as well as the inside. And then of course on the bottom of the sole plate, it is that ghost green color. And you do get the black graphic printed on the bottom that will wear off over time. Obviously that's not going to impact the performance at all, but just know that this is painted on the very surface of the sole plate, so it will wear off. Depending on what type of surface you're playing on, it'll wear off more quickly or less quickly. It really all depends. But again, it's not something that, in my opinion, is that big of a deal in the long run, but it is something they do include on the majority of the Phantom 2 colorways. So that's pretty much it as far as the colorway itself is concerned. I think they look pretty cool, but let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Do you love them? Do you hate them? Why or why not? And with that being said, let's move on to the tech specs so we can learn a little bit more about the overall performance. As far as performance is concerned, the Phantom 2 is a really solid option. It's different from the other two mid-cut models from Nike in that it's not a Flyknit upper. The collar is Flyknit, and the center portion of the tongue, or where the tongue would normally be, that's made from a Flyknit material, but the majority of the upper, the part that you're actually going to feel on your foot, is not Flyknit, which does make this feel significantly different in comparison to the Obra and Superfly. So that is definitely worth noting if you're comparing the three mid-cut models from Nike and trying to decide which is going to be best for you. Now, there is a finish variation of this shoe as well, which essentially is the exact same thing, minus the mid-cut design. There's no performance advantage of having one over the other. It's just more a matter of personal preference when it comes to the look and the general fit in the heel area. For those that will ask, I personally do prefer the finish variation of the shoe just because the low cut aspect of that shoe to me just feels a little bit more comfortable. But again, everyone has their own preference and it really is up to you as to which one is going to be the better option. If you guys do want to see the shoes in action, I'll leave a little pop-up on screen to my playtest video that I do have on the finish variation of this shoe. You can go ahead and check that out if you haven't seen it already. But for the sake of this video, we're gonna go over the basic tech specs that you should know if you are interested in these. So the upper is made from a material called Nike skin. So what you have as a base layer is a honeycomb mesh pattern, and then a layer of polyurethane Nike skin on top, and then there is a synthetic leather liner on the inside as well. The result is a material that is quite soft and flexible. It'll feel a little bit firmer at first, but as you break them in, it's remarkably flexible given how thin it is. It doesn't necessarily have that super rigid feel that we got from the original variation of the Phantom 2, which is the one thing a lot of people complained about. This is more or less a reinforced variation of what we got from the Phantom 1, which I think is a very good thing. The touch on the ball is on the thinner side, but because of that kind of mesh base layer that you have there, there is a slightly padded sensation on the ball, although like I said, it definitely is on the thinner side overall. You do have reinforcements in the liner as well as the flywire cables here that run down into the bottom of the sole plate and then through the lacing system. As you can see, that's both on the lateral and medial side of the shoe. So when you slide your foot in, pull the laces tight, pulls on those cables and really does a good job of keeping your foot nice and secure on the inside of the shoe, giving them a very responsive feel, while again, still maintaining a good amount of softness and flexibility to the upper. Which is a very nice thing. ACC, all conditions control, is a feature like you're going to find on all the top end models from Nike, acting as your wet control element, but in my opinion, not something that has a big factor or plays a big role in the feel and performance of the shoe. The laces are off-centered, as you guys can see, being pushed slightly to the medial side of the shoe. You do have, like I said, that center portion filled in with Flyknit, acting as your tongue. It's not a full sock wrap, it's basically just sewed right beneath the actual lace holes, so it's just something to fill in the gap of what would otherwise be completely open if that piece was not there. And then of course, moving on to the back, you have your internal heel counter with the dynamic fit collar made fully from Flyknit. You can see the seam is pushed more towards the medial side of the shoe as opposed to directly down the back. So in that regard, it isn't overly uncomfortable or overly difficult to get used to. The fit in the heel is the big thing with the mid-cut models from Nike, and we'll talk about that a little bit later in the video. But for the most part, it's pretty much the same collar you're going to find on all the other models. The Obra 2, I guess, has a slightly different color in terms of having more shape to it. This is pretty much just a perfect tube, but it's elasticated. There's no performance advantage to having this. There's no ankle support. There's no restrictiveness to it. It's basically just an extra layer of material that wraps your ankle that happens to be attached to the rest of the upper. As far as the insole is concerned, it's fully removable. It features a mesh liner on top and is made from a single layer of this ortholite foam that I actually think is pretty decent. The inside heel liner is a smooth synthetic leather with a minor amount of padding back there, just enough to get the job done. Again, once they're broken in, not really any issues with discomfort. And then moving on to the sole plate and stud pattern, you're gonna find that the sole plate is a compressed nylon material with a P-back stud plate on top. So the flexibility is half decent. It has some good rigidity to it in the right spots. It's a pretty solid sole plate in general. And then of course the stud pattern, this is what you're gonna get across the entire Hypervenom line. It's kind of similar to what we've seen from the Mercurial line in the past in terms of the layout and the amount of studs, but the studs, as opposed to being bladed, are conical in shape. So you kind of get a hybrid of bladed and conical studs in terms of what Nike has on offer. You get a good amount of freedom to twist and pivot because of the rounded shape, but because of the more aggressive layout and positioning of the studs, it is actually pretty aggressive in terms of the traction that it provides. Nonetheless, it's a good, firm, natural grass stud pattern. Never had any issues with it at all, and most people don't really seem to complain about it. It gets the job done, and that's really all that needs to be said in regards to this particular stud pattern. So that's pretty much it in terms of what the Phantom 2 has on offer. Again, if this is a shoe that has features that you're interested in, unless you really want the mid-cut design, you're probably better off going for the finish. But again, it really is completely up to you in terms of what type of fit in the heel area and of course what type of look that you're going for. In terms of weight, the Phantom 2 is a relatively lightweight shoe, but for the sake of the video, I'm going to weigh them for you today in real time using this scale. Keep in mind this is a brand new pair in a size 9 US. We're going to throw them on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at 7.7 ounces, the equivalent of 219 grams. So right under the 8 ounce mark, a little bit more than what we got from the Hypervenom Phantom 1. But that's because of the mid-cut aspect. If you want a slightly lighter shoe by about half an ounce, the finish variation is a little bit lighter, so keep that in mind. But again, the weight difference I would say is pretty minimal. They don't feel heavy on your feet, and that's really what matters at the end of the day. All right, so here is a look at the Elite Pack Hypervenoms on feet. On my left foot, I have the stock ghost green laces that come with the shoes, and on my right foot, I have a pair of black reflective SR4U replacement laces. If you're interested in a pair of replacement laces for yourself, the website to go to is www.sr4ulaces.com. You'll find a little pop-up on screen as well as a link down below in the description that'll take you directly there. So if you're interested, be sure to go ahead and check it out. Now, in terms of how these things fit and feel on feet, they're pretty comfortable out of the box. The Nike Skin upper, it does have that synthetic leather lining that will soften up as you wear them in, but the actual upper itself is relatively flexible. It just has a slightly firmer liner on the inside. But again, you get used to that pretty quickly, and it does soften up significantly after a couple hours of wear. As far as the fit in the heel is concerned, it is a mid-cut model from Nike, so it is recommended that you really take your time with the break-in process. I don't recommend wearing them straight into a game or straight into a free kick session. If you do that, you do run the risk of discomfort, possibly even blisters, but as long as you take your time with them, you should be able to avoid all of that and be pretty much perfectly comfortable in the shoes after a couple hours of fairly light use. As far as the fit of the shoe is concerned, it does have a tighter fit overall, but I wouldn't say it is excessively narrow by any means. Definitely not as tight fitting as something like a Mercurial model would be. So it's going to be suitable for most people. If you have really, really wide feet, probably not the best option. And as far as stretching is concerned, because of those flywire cables positioned through the midfoot and forefoot area, those areas of the upper aren't really going to stretch. So the way it fits out of the box is, for the most part, the way it's going to fit for its entire lifespan. As far as sizing is concerned, I'm wearing my usual size 9 US here, and the fit and the length is absolutely perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair of these for yourself, I would strongly recommend going true to size in order to achieve the best possible fit. All right, guys, that is it for my review of the Nike Hypervenom Phantom 2 in the Elite Pack colorway. If you guys are interested in a pair of these for yourself, you can go ahead and check out the review page on my website by either clicking the I in the corner of the screen or clicking the very first link down below in the description of this video. And of course, on that page, you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you'll be able to pick these guys up below their normal $275 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, be sure to go ahead and check that out. If you have any questions at all regarding this shoe, leave them down below in the comments and I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video, and as always, thanks for watching.